Boy, you know good and well you ain't finna sit in no pocket with me. Hey.
You violate, I'm gonna have to demonstrate.
Hey, sit in that pocket with me. Sit in the pocket with me.
Hey, what if I put you down?
You can't.
I can't.
Boy, you ain't got nothing in them gloves.
Remember this day. Remember this day.
I'm gonna remember every last piece of every day.
After the fight,
People hate when they get hit with a brick.
I'm gonna be like,
You know what's in these gloves,
I
Sean.
told you.
You know what's in these gloves.
What's up, fight fans? Welcome to my channel. This is Johnny, and in today's video we're going to be going over the statistics that nobody talks about when mentioning this weekend's world title fight at 147 pounds in Riyadh, Saudi Arabia, between the WBO world champion Brian Norman Jr. and the challenger Devin Haney. I want to say thank you to all the new subscribers. Thank you to everybody who's been with me since day one. If you haven't already, could you please remember to hit subscribe? Could you also like this video? Find the notification button on my channel. Click that so you never miss one of my daily professional betting live streams. Also, one more thing, we have launched our Johnny Says Boxing VIP Insider membership. That link is pinned in the comment section below. Click to find out more. The best value here is once you become a member for a couple bucks a month, you get access to our private betting Discord. Click that link. All right, guys, the year is coming to an end, but we got some massive fights still to finish out the year in 2025. It's been a great year in boxing. This week alone, we got fights in Japan, we got fights in the UK, we got fights in the States. This card, though, takes us to Riyadh, Saudi Arabia. It's a stacked card. Benavidez versus Yard, Bam versus Puma, Abdullah versus Noakes. But in this video, we're going to be focusing on the world champion at 147 pounds, the undefeated 24-year-old Brian Norman Jr., putting his belt on the line against the 32-0 Devin Haney. We know this will be Devin Haney's first fight at 147, and this will be Brian Norman Jr.'s first fight since we saw him achieve another knockout of the year candidate in Japan earlier in the year against Jin Sasaki. So in this video, what we're gonna do is break down both fighters' careers. We're gonna talk a little bit about their paths to victory. And like always, stay tuned to the end of the video because that's where I'll be going over the current Las Vegas odds, and I'll be giving you my prediction and telling you where to put your money. All right, guys, as soon as this fight was announced, I know myself, some other guys in my network who break fights down and create content on YouTube in an educated and research-based way, we were like, oh shit. This is one of those fights where as soon as it got announced, stress, back and forth. I've been half the time thinking Dev's gonna win, the other half been thinking Brian Norman Jr. is gonna win. You're overthinking it, you're watching film study, you know what both fighters have been up to, and now we're less than a week away, and you guys are gonna get my prediction here in just a few minutes. Devin Haney, we last saw him fight against Jose Ramirez. We saw him on that Riyadh card in Times Square. The card itself, in my opinion, was a bit of a letdown. I feel Turki Al-Sheikh and the powers that be moving forward probably shouldn't create a card around a sector or a section of town with no fans. We understand how important the energy of a crowd is for the fighters. And if you just think about that card, the Barboza Jr. versus Teofimo Lopez fight, the Devin Haney versus Jose Ramirez fight, it was kind of lackluster, and I don't want to blame it on the fighters. I feel it had a lot to do with there being no crowd. I should also mention Raleigh beat Ryan Garcia on that card as well. And in Ryan Garcia, whenever you say the name Devin Haney, you have to say Garcia's name. Those two become synonymous with rivalry, with controversy. We know what happened when they fought. Since 2023, I do want to mention Devin Haney, since the Regis fight, this will only be his third fight. Fought Regis, fought Ryan, took a year off, fought Ramirez. For Brian Norman Jr., this will be his third fight in 2025. Derek Cuevas stopped him, Jin Sasaki stopped him, and now he's putting his belt on the line against Haney. We last saw Norman travel to Japan. He was taking on a one-loss Jin Sasaki. People on YouTube, there's receipts. Go to my playlist, Fight Predictions. You'll see who I took. You'll see we took under 6, and we picked Norman to win by knockout. We ate during that fight. We won a lot of money, but there were people doubting Norman Jr., saying that Sasaki's only loss was to Andy Hiroka, a knockout artist at 140. Sasaki's style is tailor-made for Norman to get hurt early. Norman isn't defensive responsible enough, and we saw what happened. And I feel this has kind of been a narrative around Brian Norman Jr.'s entire career thus far. It kind of comes with the territory when at the time you become the youngest world champion in boxing, until we know what happened with Xander Zayas when he won the title. Now Xander has that title, but Brian Norman Jr., he's gonna have his detractors. People are gonna say, who has he fought? People are gonna bring up the Janelson Figueroa fight when he got clipped and he got hurt really bad. We know that fight was a no contest due to cuts. People are going to talk a little bit about how he has holes in his game. He's never fought a guy like Devin Haney. And with Haney on the other side, people are going to talk about the Ryan Garcia fight, how he wasn't able to make adjustments, how his fight IQ was literally next to nothing, trying to hook with a hooker, and how he almost got stopped against a guy, if you ask me, and Garcia isn't a world level guy. All in all, we got to see Devin again against Ramirez. I think he landed 70 punches in that fight. Ramirez landed 30. This was the famous tweet, Tom and Jerry tweet from Turki Al-Sheikh. We have to remember this is a Turki Al-Sheikh card. So what version of Devin Haney are we gonna see? If you're a Haney fan, you gotta expect him to get on the jab early. You gotta expect him to use his world-class speed, his world-class timing, but there will be a point in this fight where Brian Norman Jr. will make Devin Haney punch with him. Brian Norman Jr. is not a 33-year-old Jose Ramirez. Brian Norman Jr. is a young kid who's leveling up with each fight. We watched him go against Gio Santillan as the underdog, and we watched him stop Gio late. We watched him go against Derek Cuevas. All the boys from Philly, all the sparring partners were saying Cuevas was going to be the biggest puncher Norman had faced. Norman stopped him, and I already told you what the naysayers were saying about Norman going into Japan, and we know what Norman did to Sasaki. So this one is very exciting. The odds currently have it at 50-50. I woke up this morning for our first live stream, and Norman was the favorite. They're at 50-50 now, and I think as we get closer to fight night, the odds are probably going to be going in Devin's favor. So I told you guys earlier on the stream, if you're all in on Norman, wait till about Friday night to put your money on Norman, because you'll get the best odds. I feel that's where the boxing casuals, the celebrities, the people who really aren't in the trenches like we are going to see the Devs fighting, and they're going to put money on them, not really knowing what time it is. So if you're on Devin, put your money in now. And if you're on Norman, you'll want to wait. Right now, I want to take a closer look at Devin Haney and see what he's been up to in his career. All right, guys, Devin Haney is 32-0 with 15 knockouts. Out of 2,667 fighters in the world at 147, he is ranked #1. We do know this is his first fight ever at 147, so it's another one of those head-scratching moments for BoxRec's algorithm. He's fought a career total of 234 pro rounds and carries into the ring a 47% career knockout to win ratio. His adoring fans know him as the Dream, and the 27-year-old American is a 5'9" orthodox fighter with a 71-inch reach. He was born in California and calls Las Vegas, Nevada, USA home. We last saw him fight Jose Ramirez, 29-2, won a UD in the 12th. Ryan Garcia, 24-1, no contest, no decision. Regis Prograde, 29-1, won a UD in the 12th. Loma, 17-2, won a UD in the 12th. You guys have to go all the way back to 2019 when he fought Zaire Abdullayev to find his last stoppage victory. That was at 135 pounds. Never stopped anyone at 40. Like I said, this will be his first fight at 47. With me personally, the thing I've always questioned about Devin is his power. Technically, the thing I've always questioned is his backhand. He never looks comfortable with his footwork. The things you got to really like about Devin is his speed, is his jab, is his ability to use the entire ring. His reflexes are world class, and we know, and what we learned watching the Garcia fight, the kid's a dog. You gotta really, really, really hurt him to have him quit. He never quit on himself. He kept getting up. That being said, we know what entailed. We know that Garcia tested dirty. We know that fight got overturned. We know about the lawsuits. We know about the threats. We know all about all the media stuff and how each fighter handled it. I don't like getting too political with my approach in terms of what I'm doing here on the channel, so I'm trying not to make that part of the narrative. When I see Devin's game plan going into fight night, he's gonna wanna get Norman Jr.'s respect early. He's not gonna be able to win a fight backing up the entire time like he did against Ramirez. Everybody knows Ramirez, his camp knows, he was really never the same guy since Maurice Hooker. Ramirez's style, it doesn't age well. So even though Ramirez was 32, 33 years old at the time against Haney, people will say that's not that old. That's an old old 33 for Ramirez's style and everything that Jose accomplished early on in his career. If you ask me about Devin's resume, people are going to look back on this resume in 40 years and just see these big names. But you also have to mention, when did he fight these fighters? What weight class did he fight these fighters? Did he weight drain any of these fighters? And a lot of people say that he lost to Lomachenko. And a lot of people talk about who is he really fighting in their prime, his age or younger. Well, guess what? Devin's 27 years old. Brian Norman Jr. is 24 years old. All this will be found out on Fight Night, because if Devin comes out on top, what the naysayers won't be able to say after Fight Night, that he never beat a world champion his age or younger. So we'll see. Right now, I do want to take a look at the undefeated 24-year-old champion and see what he's been up to in his career. Guys, Norman is 28-0 with 22 knockouts. Out of 2,667 fighters in the world at 147, he's ranked number 2. He's fought a career total of 100 pro rounds and carries into the ring a 79% career knockout to win ratio. He is the WBO World Welterweight Champion. His adoring fans know him as the Assassin 2. And the 24-year-old American is a 5'8" Orthodox fighter with a 72-inch reach. He was born in Decatur, Georgia, and lives in Conyers, Georgia, USA. We last saw him fight Sasaki, 19-1, stopped him in the 5th. Cuevas, 27-1, stopped him in the 3rd. Santillan, 32-0, stopped him in the 10th. The Janelson fight, 17-2, that was a no contest due to cuts. Quentin Randall, 13-0, won a UD in the 10th. And for a guy like Brian Norman Jr., for you guys watching this who are content creators, who make content like myself, I wouldn't go past the Quentin Randall fight with his career. Why? He's still a young dude. He's not in his physical prime. The thing I really like about Brian Norman Jr., from the Quentin Randall fight, to the Santillan fight, to the Bolsachika fight, to the Sasaki fight, the Cuevas fight, you see a kid who keeps leveling up. You see a guy who is tightening things up with his defense. You see a guy who's understanding the pocket a little bit more and not running in naked like he did against Janelson and getting caught with that beautiful right hand. And you saw him fight after fight, adding layers and levels to his game, and he won't be in his physical prime for a few more years. I do say he's not a big welterweight. I feel this weight class is perfect for him for years to come. Devin Haney, even though he's never fought at 47, he'll be the bigger dude. Norman Jr., though, will have, on paper at least, an inch or so reach advantage. Norman Jr. has the power advantage. I give Norman Jr. the psychological advantage. This guy, to me personally, is a throwback. When I look at how Brian Norman Jr. throws his lead hook, when I look at his willingness to travel to Japan, to put his hand up to fight anyone, he reminds me of Joe Frazier. I'm not saying what he looks like, obviously different size, but in that throwback approach, in the minimal words, in the lead hook, how he goes about his business, Brian Norman Jr. is a throwback. There's a lot to like about his career. Before I give you guys my prediction on who I feel wins this fight, remember, I do live streams every single day. In the live streams during fight week, not just this fight card, but I cover all the fights going on internationally. We go over my long parlays, over and unders. We talk about knockdown prop bets, method of victory props. Stay tuned to the live streams and join the Discord for those bets. In these Stats Don't Lie videos, guys, you're only going to get my money line prediction. All right, guys, let's pull out our betting apps. Wherever you are in the world, the app I'm using for this fight is Bet365. All right, guys, on the money line, it's straight down the middle. 50-50, $1.86 on both sides. 100 on either guy gets your money back plus 86 bucks. Now, before I tell you who I think is going to win, what I'm going to say is this. Just because I'm not going for said fighter doesn't mean I'm a hater. I want to tell you guys that right off the jump. This is one of those cultural fights where I know I'm going to get people who don't follow my channel, who aren't aware how I operate, who are seeing me for the first time right now, and you might, have some doubts on what I do. I took Devin to beat Ramirez. I took Devin to beat Ryan. I'm not a Devin Haney hater. I break down these fights without opinion and emotion. I'm looking at things strategically. I told the boys on my live stream earlier today, when I'm thinking about the story of each guy's career, if you have 500 days of their story and you're thinking about where they've come from, what they're up to, and where their career trajectory is going, it is really hard for me to put any money on Devin Haney. It's really hard for me to get past his performance against Ramirez. He was so unwilling to stand his ground. He had a couple moments where you saw his hand speed, where you saw the skill and reflexes, but I saw trauma in those feet. I saw trauma in those eyes. Obviously, we saw what happened to Ryan. Even if Ryan doesn't pop, he keeps getting caught with that lead hook and doesn't make adjustments. I don't like that. When you're giving me the 24-year-old, and I said by fight night, he will be the underdog with these odds. So if you're on Norman Jr., wait till Friday. He will be an underdog. I'm going all in on Brian Norman Jr. I think he's going to be able to figure out that jab. I think there's going to be moments where he's going to force Devin Haney to punch with him. He's faster than people thinks he is. He has a higher fight IQ than people give him credit for, and we know that he could crack, and we know that he wants to be there. Sometimes I question Devin Haney, his mental, his mindset. Does he really want to be there? Did he really want this fight? Did they force him to take this fight? How big will the ring be? We remember Turki Al-Sheikh said the Tom and Jerry matchups. Devin Haney, that's who he was referring to against Jose Ramirez. Now, I just Googled. You guys could do your research. What is the ring size? They haven't announced it yet. They usually wait till about Friday night. I don't think it's going to matter. I think Brian Norman Jr. is going to make it look pretty easy. There's nothing in Devin Haney's game that I've seen that he's added to. There's nothing that I've seen that he's maybe evolving as a fighter. I don't give much credence to the Ryan Garcia no contest. Ryan Garcia is very domestic level, if you ask me. I don't think he'll ever be a world champion. All he has is a left hook. Garcia is a guy who hasn't evolved since the amateurs. You think Brian Norman Jr. lands his hook a couple times clean, Haney's going to get up? I don't think so. So right now, I got Norman Jr. on the money line. Stay tuned to my channel, to the live streams for some props. There's a sneaky prop that I like a lot going into fight night. This is not an echo chamber. I know we are not agreeing 100% on this one. So in the comment section below, tell me how Norman wins. Tell me how Norman loses. If you're with Devin Haney, do the same. And stay tuned to the channel, guys, because we got a lot of fights this weekend. I'll see you in the next one.